Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today. I flew in a few days ago from my hometown of Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. Kitchener has one LRT, or light rail transit tram, one line in the whole city, which by Canadian standards makes us a first-class transit city. And as it happens, something I find quite serendipitous is that prior to 1916, Kitchener had a different name, Berlin. And as I find myself having traveled from Berlin, Ontario, formerly Berlin, Ontario, to the original Berlin 1.0 here in Germany, I can't help but think on the nature of globalization. We find ourselves and our attention fractured into a dozen different places. One minute I'm thinking about how we had such an unseasonably warm autumn season in Ontario with November temperatures reaching above 20 degrees Celsius. The next moment I'm thinking about how there's fires raging in LA, and the next moment I'm thinking about Arctic sea ice. It's not natural for us to have access to this flood of anxiety-inducing news all the time from all over the world. So what do? As I mentioned, I live in a transit-starved city, as do many Canadians. If you don't have a car, you're out of luck, right? And this is how a lot of the citizens of Kitchener felt when our municipal government canceled our one and only night bus route. Suddenly, a lot of people, warehouse workers, late-night shift workers, nurses, restaurant employees, students, dancing late into the night, and I know that Berliners know a thing or two about dancing late into the night. Suddenly, all of these people didn't have a way to get home other than paying for an expensive Uber or a taxi. We all decided to join hands and march down to our city council and speak before city councilors, telling them we demand that our night bus be reinstated. Now, not all of us that went were environmentalists. Some of us were parents, worried about how our children were getting home. Some were transit workers, worried about their jobs being cut. And others were just folks on a tight budget who couldn't afford to pay for a car. We all had one common denominator, our community. And guess what? We resurrected the night bus from the dead. As the clock struck midnight, one night late in September, we all gathered at the bus stop for the inaugural ride of Route 91. Canadians, immigrants, families, students, elderly folks, we all joined hands to celebrate a victory that was probably imperceptible on a global scale, but a game changer for our community. We all high-fived the driver as we got on the bus, and we applauded for each person who boarded on the new route. And I'm sure we confused a few people because they didn't know what was going on. But some people really stepped into their moment and walked down the aisle of the bus as if it were a catwalk. From this, I learned that the federal government should try to act less like an overprotective, overbearing parent and more like a trusting mentor. Right? Relinquish some of that power over to local level governments because they know their communities best. Empowering small-scale local level governments who know their people best with the resources and the autonomy to make their own decisions can boost citizen involvement and also get buy-in from everyday people. And of course, this can also apply as you roll out renewables and socialize renewables across countries. This is not a novel concept. It's been studied. One of my favorite political scientists, Dr. Elinor Ostrom, she studied the economic principle of the tragedy of the commons. Now, I know many of you are familiar with this, but the tragedy of the commons dictates that any resource shared by a number of different stakeholders will inevitably be emptied, like a lake full of fish, for example, will inevitably be emptied by people acting in their own interests. Ostrom challenged this principle by studying the power of local level governance. She studied fisheries in particular, some in Atlantic Canada actually. She studied fisheries that were able to keep a healthy level of stock for years on end. So what was the secret? How did they defy the laws of economics? They empowered local level people. Ostrom had a set of rules, and the most important, in my opinion, is ensure that those who are affected by the rules can also participate in making them. So essentially, those who are expected to obey the rules should be given a hand in writing them. And as countries prepare to roll out renewables to the different and diverse communities that live within them, this is something to remember. I would offer that you involve not only top-level executives, experts, and scientists, but also everyday people. Give them a seat at the table. Make it easier for young people to participate in democracy. Remove barriers such as time and money so that they may have a voice in local level governance. I was going to finish this speech with a different ending, but actually I walked close to the East Side Gallery where the Berlin Wall still stands for the first time yesterday, and I saw a quote that was part of a piece of artwork. It said, "Many small people in many small places doing many small things can alter the face of the world." And I feel that for everyone in this room, it's our job to allow them the means to be able to do exactly that. Thank you.